Got a target set up at 50 yards. I'm shoot a 5-shot group. All right, let's go take a look. That's the first time I've shot it at 50 yards, and guys, that is a legitimate 50 yards. I see a lot of people showing their shooting on YouTube at what they're claiming to be 100 yards. It looks like about 50 yards. This is what 50 yards looks like. Okay, so I got one out of the black. That's a 5.5 inch bullseye. Got one out of the black. Looks like all 5 shots were in about 3¼ inches. Not bad at 50 yards. And that's my shooting with iron sights is the limitation there, not the revolver. And I thought I had that lined up to where I'd hit the steel. You guys probably heard the steel ring a few times there, but I didn't have it lined up good enough. Hit it right on the edge some. Hello guys and gals, Buffalo here. I'm down here at the range today taking a look at this revolver. This is a Taurus tracker, model 627, 357 Magnum revolver. This belongs to a good friend of mine, Chase. He picked this up several weeks ago and brought it over, and we shot it some, and I was really impressed at how well that I was able to shoot this revolver. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. I'll get this thing over to the tabletop and we'll do a quick rundown, then we'll get started shooting. You guys can get a better look at it over here on the tabletop. This is a stainless steel revolver, stainless steel frame, cylinder, and barrel. It's got kind of a matte finish to it, or a satin or brushed looking finish to it. This one has the 6.5 inch barrel. These 627s are also available with a 4-inch barrel. The barrels are ported on these. You can see the ports there. That helps control muzzle jump with some of your hotter 357 Magnum loads. Full underlug. Ejector rod is fully encased and protected. The ejector rod is knurled here. Make it easier to get a hold of. Really smooth. This is a 7-shot 357 Magnum, which means you can also shoot 38 special in it. It's a medium-sized revolver. Grips are a rubber grip. This does not have the Taurus ribber grips, they call them. I prefer this grip. This is a rubberized grip. Some people don't like grips with finger grooves, and I understand that if they don't fit your hand, they'd just be right in the way, but this grip really fits my hand, so I like this grip. The gun comes in at about 40 ounces, or at least it's advertised at 40 ounces. On my little cheap scale, it came in at 41 ounces. That scale could easily be an ounce off, but you can see it's pretty close. The cylinder latch is pushed forward to open like you would on a Smith & Wesson. The cylinder also rotates counterclockwise like on a Smith & Wesson. The hammer has a keyhole at the base of it, and that's to lock the gun up. The gun comes with a key, and you can lock the gun up. Now, I don't prefer to have those kind of locks on my firearms, but if you were going to put a lock on one, that's a pretty inconspicuous place to put it. I don't like the way Smith & Wesson does it right on the side of the frame. This is a little less offensive, I should say. The trigger on this thing, the actual trigger, not the action, is very nice. Very wide face trigger. The trigger is actually just as wide as the trigger guard, and it's very smooth, very polished. Makes for a better trigger pull. The action is kind of heavy. I couldn't measure the double action pull because my scale only goes up to 12 pounds. I'm guessing that's a 13 or 14 pound trigger pull. Single action I could measure, and I measured it several times and consistently get between 5 pounds 9 ounces and 5 pounds 10 ounces. Take a look at some of the etchings on this gun. You've got Taurus Armas, made in Brazil. Got the big tracker logo there on the barrel. Some people complain about that. Some people like it. I could take it or leave it. Doesn't really make that much difference to me. On the bottom of the barrel, probably can't see it with this camera, but that says 357 mag. And then on the other side, we've got our serial number here. Here you've got your serial and model number. Taurus International Manufacturing, Bainbridge, Georgia, and the Taurus Bull logo. The sights on this gun are very, very nice. Big, large, fully adjustable rear sight. It's adjustable for elevation and for windage. Front sight is a ramped front sight. Appears to be pinned. Has an orange painted area there, or an orange insert in the ramp. Makes the sight very easy to pick up. I like these sights a lot. They're very good for target shooting or hunting or that kind of work. I went ahead and measured the cylinder gap just for giggles. I've heard that some of these Taurus revolvers have a really wide cylinder gap, but this one came in at 5/1000ths of an inch, which is really good. That's exactly where you'd want it to be. So this revolver comes in at 10 3/4 inches long, just over 5 1/4 inches tall, and it is about 1.5 inches wide at the cylinder. Taurus incorporates a transfer bar safety system. You can see the transfer bar right there and the firing pin just above it there. If I pull the trigger, that transfer bar stays up and allows the hammer to make contact with the transfer bar, which transfers that energy to the firing pin, which sets off the cartridge. If I were to drop the revolver and the hammer were to fall without the trigger being pulled, got my trigger finger over here, you can see that transfer bar stays down and out of the way and doesn't allow the hammer to make contact with the transfer bar. Therefore, the firing pin can't be hit. So it is a drop safe revolver. These vent holes here along the upper rib are for more than just looks. People use these to mount scopes on their revolvers. You can get a scope mount that clamps into those vents. So if you prefer a scope on your revolver for hunting or something like that, you can add a scope to it in that manner. So MSRP on this gun comes in at about $535, and that's really low. If you compare that to a similar Smith & Wesson or Ruger or something like that, you're gonna see that that's actually a pretty low price. But enough about that. Let's get this thing out here and start banging some steel with it. I've got some Nosler 240 grain semi-jacketed hollow points loaded up. And even with times being what they are, I did not cheat you guys on powder. These are full house loads. Get 7 shots. I did have one miss there, but I am at 40 yards shooting double action, so not a bad start. So let's try this on the full size silhouette. We'll start out at 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards, 50 yards, 60 yards, 70 yards, 80 yards, and oh, I gotta pick that up. You guys know how it is. Some people don't like the barrel porting because it tends to make the gun louder on your ears. And also, it can flash, and if you're in a defensive situation in low light, it can cause you to lose your night vision. Of course, the benefits are it does control muzzle rise. I can definitely tell with this revolver that it's helping control the muzzle rise on those hotter 357 Magnum rounds. So it's a trade-off, just like everything else in life. Let's shoot some 38 special. Now, I told you guys I didn't cheat you on powder on those 357 Magnum loads, and I didn't. On these 38 special loads, I did. These are what I call my bunny fart loads. It's a 158 grain plated bullet, but it is loaded very light. Check this recoil out. It hardly even registers. And these two targets, if you watched me shoot the 357 Magnum, you notice I avoided these. That's because these are rated for rim fire only. But these bunny fart loads don't hurt them a bit. That's one of the beautiful things about hand loading for 357 Magnum, is that flexibility to go from mild to wild. One more time. That is just fun. I tell you what, guys, my shooting has degraded a little bit during this ammo crunch. I haven't been able to shoot as much live fire. Now, I try to do dry fire practice now and then and stuff like that to stay tuned up. And I have shot a lot of rim fire, but I've cut way back on my center fire shooting, and it feels good to be down here at the range today, just relax shooting a little bit. Trying not to hear those dollar signs every time the gun goes off. Alright, we'll try 60 yards here with the bunny fart loads, shooting that gong on the far left. Alright, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but I slipped in one of my Magnum loads there. That 6th shot was quite a bit hotter than the other 6. Alright, so that gives me an idea. I put 4 of my very light loaded 38 special rounds in here and 3 hot 357 Magnum loads. I'm going to shut this up without looking and see if we can tell, see if you guys can tell by watching the gun which ones are which. I have no idea what's coming up first. Definitely 38 special. Definitely 357 Magnum. 38 special. 357. 38. 38. 357. And that's all of them. Pretty stark difference. The sun just came out something fierce. But guys, this has been a lot of fun. Really enjoyed shooting this gun. Appreciate Chase sending it over to the channel. And it's kind of opened my eyes up to the Taurus brand again. You know, I've got friends that have had, I've never bought a Taurus revolver. But I've got friends that have bought them, and some of them have had problems, and big problems. And then they turn around and get even more hassle through Taurus's customer service. I hear that that's gotten better recently. I can't confirm that because I've never dealt with them. But this revolver has opened my eyes a little bit. I'm going to start looking at them. I may pick me up one. Now, I offered to buy this one off my buddy, but he's not going to sell it to me, so I'm going to have to give it back to him. Man, that light just keeps changing. Sun's going in and out behind those clouds, but they're worth taking a look at. But that's all I've got today, and I'll talk with y'all again soon.